Hi, it's Sonia and welcome back to my art YouTube channel. Today I thought I'd just show you a few pages in my abstract sketchbook, and I'm going to be completely honest, this is meant to be like a daily project for me, but yesterday turned out to be super busy and I didn't even touch a pen. Well, I did do a sketch, but that was at a workshop. I didn't do anything in this abstract sketchbook. I didn't get into the studio, but I'm going to show you, it's one day, so I skipped today, but that happens. But otherwise, I have been working in this sketchbook every single day, and yeah, it's something I want to continue with because it's bringing me a lot of joy and it's helping me experiment still. And just play with minimalism, which like you think you've got a canvas, I tend to think, oh, I don't want to waste the canvas, I've got to use the paint, put a lot of stuff into it. But in a sketchbook, because this was a cheap sketchbook, I feel I can just play more with minimalism, and at the same time, if I feel like it, I'm trying to find a sort of more maximalist page, but it seems I was really into here. Like, for example, then other days I can go with what I feel I need from my own sort of artistic perspective, as it were. So yeah, so today I'm going to go and I thought you'd come draw with me. Hopefully this is a sort of, for some of you, maybe you'll be in your abstract sketchbooks, whatever you fancy drawing. So yes, and then I thought I would fill this spread and then just have a general chat, because I'm still trying to get myself back into more of a, what's the word, like back into the sort of term of making videos again, because I did take a little bit of a break, and just where am I going? So for me, this is a great way of slowing things down and getting on with just taking some time to think and have a play. Okay, so I am going to grab, this is going to be totally off the cuff. Sometimes I sort of think, especially when I'm making video, I'll say like, oh, I'm going to do a bit of collage in it and I'll make it mixed media. But I really am in that post holiday mode. So I've grabbed some pens, and I don't want that one because that will bleed through. That's some alcohol marker. But I've got some markers and a crayon. These are my kids' eyes. And we're just going to get going with those, and then I might add some other materials into it. And I don't know, like, this is a really old felt tip. So sometimes I think the best way to get going is just to get going and almost not even think too much. And for me, I always seem to start just with these sort of shapes sometimes. If I sit with a blank page for too long, I don't know, I can start to overthink about what I want to achieve. And then I forget it's actually, this sort of a journal or sketchbook is about the process and just working out doing the sort of work that I guess, yeah, you would never necessarily, which is a shame actually, because I think these sort of drawings on a large scale would be really fun. But necessarily, like, I mean, this would not be life arts because it's kids' markers, but as a large piece. But the point is, from these sort of sketchbooks, I have started to do some work on canvas, and I hope I will start to integrate some of my shapes and motifs and even colour choices. And that's my plan for this year. But yeah, so I hope everyone is, I don't know, it's a funny, I feel like this time of year is, what's the word? Like, either I feel there's all this stuff online about making resolutions and plans, as it were. I personally, I don't make resolutions as such, but I feel like when I look at my sort of ideas list, it's pretty big at this time of the year. I've got all these ideas and all these creative plans, but at the same time, I don't know if anyone else is the same. I feel like through experience and stuff that has happened, I don't want to be rigid or go overboard with planning, because I think we've all probably, I mean, sometimes it just feels like life is super unpredictable. Stuff comes up. For those of us who've maybe had more like, not insecure childhoods, but changes, I think I want to be flexible. Like, I feel I'm always not sure what could happen, so I don't want to, as it were, feel pressured to follow a strict I like to put added pressure on myself that I don't think would be great at this time of year. Like, I want to enjoy my practice still, and at the same time though, I do have a list of things to focus on. But today I just needed to get back and play. And I probably have a feeling that a lot of you might be in a similar position. Like, you come off, whether it be a break or time with family, or just, it's sometimes a fresh start or a fresh year can feel a little bit overwhelming. So, I've just jogged. So I'm using markers quite a lot at the moment in this piece. I just feel, maybe I'm obviously also going for more organic shapes. I keep thinking I should do some lines, and I really got into triangles at one point. Maybe play around. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to, I've made also a list of video topics I would like to do. I want to carry on my series. So yeah, just have a chat about what I'm hoping will arise in terms of future videos, but it's not set in stone. I'm letting it, I like to be a bit loosey-goosey with this sort of stuff, but I would like to finish my series on my favourite materials, go over dry materials like crayons and then pencils, and also talk about watercolour and acrylics, and sketchbooks and paper, that sort of stuff. And then I had some ideas for just more, I think, hopefully helpful topics, like for anybody who's wanting how I've approached designing my own drawing projects, because I think that's something that's really fun to do, is to, and I think also gives you a bit of a higher chance of success. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's nothing I have in the past loved joining other people's challenges, but sometimes I feel, I don't know, I feel more committed when I come up with my own drawing projects for myself. So I was thinking about that as a topic. This is crazy. Yeah, and I was also wanting to see if anybody has any more questions, because like, on the one hand, I was thinking about this is something I've been thinking about, and I've been conscious of, is I feel like I love having my own personal art practice. I've got a lot out of, I think, becoming more confident in following my own desires, and not so much listening or trying to follow other people's advice as such. But I am also conscious that, I mean, yeah, and it's fun because I've got a small audience-ish, but like, so I can do what I want to do. But at the same time, like, I am mindful that I do want to make helpful, beneficial content. So if you do have any particular topics that you would like me to go into more, or questions, then yeah, let me know in the comments. And sometimes I focus entire videos to some of the questions, and also I can make different, like, I think one of the things I like to do is make they're not different videos in the sense that I draw abstracts, and I make also more traditional work in terms of, like, if you've seen some of my older sketchbooks, I love gouache and gouache landscapes. I also do like to draw people, but that's been an interesting, I've been actually thinking about that a lot actually over the holidays, drawing people, because I went back to it when we were away. I took a sketchbook where I I use Sketchy app, because that's people who want to be drawn. So I was like trying to keep up my practice with figurative work and drawing fairly accurately portraiture, like getting a likeness. And that, I feel like it's getting the likeness that is the struggle for me, because I do draw, I don't grid, I don't trace, I draw freehand. And I like to draw, maybe it's because of having the kids, but I was thinking about this yesterday. I was chatting to someone at a workshop, and I attended a real life, I was helping out a drawing workshop in a library, and I was saying that, like, I feel I did used to do portraiture a lot, and maybe having the kids, I've got a lot quicker I want to speed up with my drawing, because I didn't have much time to draw when they were young at all. So now I feel like I work quite quickly, and that's great in some respects because I get a lot done, but sometimes I've lost that slow, more methodical, like working out guidelines, I sometimes go too quickly in my drawing, so faces are there's always something slightly out of proportion, an ear slightly in the wrong place, and so I wonder if that's why I more struggle with likenesses. But then I was also thinking about it. So yeah, these sort of pages, I don't know if you're thinking about, I hope maybe you'll be thinking about your own art practice as I'm chatting. So that's why I love abstract sketchbooks, because I think you can feel like I think a lot more when I'm making this sort of intuitive free work. But I was thinking, like, actually, I don't know, I want to still do portraits of myself and my family, because I feel that's something nice to give to if the kids want it, for the kids, and for our walls it makes sense. And yeah, getting braver about drawing myself, I think that's something that maybe when we're younger you feel really sort of, I hope I'm more comfortable in my own skin. I think when I was in my 20s, I don't think I really drew myself much in my 20s, but I think it's a good exercise in, as it were, just, I guess, self-acceptance, and also having the freedom to draw yourself as you want. And then but in terms of, like, at one point I did do portraits. I offered portraits of, it's watercolour portraits of couples and things. And I just remember, oh my gosh, I did burnout when I did that. And it was actually really, I found that, because when you do portraits, I think the problem is when you draw other people, yeah, let me know in the comments if other people have found this too, in terms of any portraiture. But there is an inherent, if you're drawing someone else's image as such, like, you feel often I want to please them, like you want them to like the drawing that you've done of them, especially if they're paying for it. And so, you know, there is, yeah, it's like, you put yourself into the portraiture, it's your work, but at the same time, you're trying to put, you know, work with someone else's taste as well, like, and as it were, lent you their image, you want them to like it. I have recently, so I use the Sketchy museum app, and sometimes, like, I'm like, this person doesn't even look like the image. I don't want to say, oh, thanks for the inspiration, because maybe they'll be like, this doesn't even look like me. But then I was thinking that the only reason I would probably go back to that is maybe I could just, I think I'd need to have a photo of someone to slightly put things in the right place, but maybe I could play about with my own characters. Like, then I don't look at the photo and then I just make up. That'd be quite a fun project, make up characters, like characters from books. Maybe you read a book and then you could be like, I'm speaking to myself as much as you, maybe you could be like, oh, that character's, write down their characteristics and then draw how you think that person is. So it's not based on someone in real life. I sometimes think drawing people these days from real life, maybe it's all, everything going on in the world, like, I find it's a little bit, sometimes, I don't know, it's more open to, not people getting offended, but I mean, you even read about it online, like if you're on Instagram following other artists, like sometimes I saw one thing, or maybe it was on Threads, a photographer was not very happy because she was saying that people were copying her photos and then posting them, particularly gouache artists, and it was blatantly that, you know, they'd used her image or her photos and then hadn't credited her, or she didn't want people using her images in this, I don't know. But basically, sometimes I feel like, even though I'm not necessarily selling like my sketchbooks, I'm drawing these people and yes, they're from Sketchy, they've said they want to be drawn. I don't know anything about these people, and I don't have to say, the sketchbook that I've got, I will share it. I think I'm going to actually finish practicing drawing heads, and then I'm going to cover it up, and I'm going to totally alter it, because I just don't feel, unfortunately, connected to these drawings of people. In a weird way, like, and I'm sure people, so some people are going to be like looking at those going, oh my gosh, those are so, that's really good art, that's proper art, Sonia. And they'll be looking at this going, oh my gosh, what is this? This is, you know, I can already in my head, because I've had people say stuff to me, I can hear all the, you know, I can have all my internal, like, this is children's art, this is, anybody can do this, rah-de-rah-de-rah. But to me, weirdly, I feel more connected sometimes to these pages, because I know, even though I haven't dated it, sometimes I know what I was feeling when I was making them than I do to my drawings of other people, even though that might show drawing skill. I just feel more connected to these sketchbooks. I could probably lose those other sketchbooks because, yeah, I just, apart from the fact I put a lot of work into them, I just don't feel a sense of connection. And there's so much, yeah, even when I did, and I know some great sites as well if people want recommendations of like where to learn to draw people from, and again, like I used in the pandemic, I joined Draw Brighton, which is a fantastic online Patreon where you can do life drawing classes. And I would join that again, I think, for life drawing classes in particular. But even drawing like their reference photos, like drawing people who'd obviously been paid, I don't know, it's really hard. I feel more that sort of figurative art. I think I'll keep figurative art for myself and my own drawing, as it were. I still want to keep up my practice, I really do, because it took me a long time to build up my skills again after a break from art. So now I think I might add some paint. So like, but in terms of going forward, I really want to do more, yeah. So I'm talking out loud because for anybody who's making their plans for this year, it's just, sometimes it's good to sort of have in your head a general schema of how you'd like things to go. I would like to do more personal portraits of myself and my family. I'd like to do more abstracts on canvas, and I want to share those with you guys because I feel, one, also, don't get me wrong, I'd love to sell my abstracts on canvas, but I also think, I know a lot of times art, art is, you know, it's expensive for people, but I think we can all make our own art for our walls. Sometimes we're going to have to be confident to put it up, because I know from you guys and personal experience as well, like sometimes our friends and family might be like, what is this? But I would love to, if people are doing these sort of sketchbooks, think about how can we also make some finished pieces to improve our environment, so we can look up and see, you know, something that we've made, even if we're in whatever size space we're in. I need to find, what am I looking for? Paint. I wanted to like scrape, I want to scrape this. This is what I was looking for. I really got into also this year, I mean, it sounds silly, but I always gravitate to brushes, but sometimes I'm like, I've been really using bits of card and just smearing on paint. So this is a palette knife that I just had handy. But that's just, I love these colours. This sort of, what is it? It's a corally orange. And it's if you do it thinly, then you can get a nice transparent layer as well. So that'd be a focus. And then also, like, I still want to really do, I'm loving floral still life work. And then maybe some landscapes. As you can see, I've got so many ideas, which I don't think is a bad thing, because hopefully it shows I still have joy in art. And I'm just going to try and be relatively focused, but also follow my interests. Yeah, let me know if you do have time. Let me know in the comments, what are you planning, what are you wanting to explore, if you could have the time and resources. And yep, so let's add some blue. So these sort of pages, I am also going to have to do some spreads where I just do voiceovers, because I find when I'm talking and making work, I don't know, it's like, it's a really interesting, anybody else who's maybe starting a YouTube channel or let me know how you talking and making work is very different from when I'm just filming and then I do a voiceover, because I'm in a totally different zone. But it's like, I feel I'm making some marks and I'm not even conscious of what I'm doing. So now what I want is, I like to also look back at my own work to give me some ideas. I really like to bring in some lines. You have a look from above. What would have been really cool as well, another idea for you guys, is, and I should do this in this book, I'm forgetting to prepare, or even the stick. This would have been quite a cool, I'd love to see this design on black. But I mean, to go in, I think I did once alter, where was it? I feel like, this one. I went in and I just did a load of marker stuff, and then I didn't like it. So then I went back and painted it all in black, and I really like that effect. So maybe in future, I should remind myself, maybe stick black paper. If you need to get paper through the door, or I was just thinking about like how also reusing more stuff this year, saying that I've got a load of stuff I need to use up. But yeah, or even what would happen with tissue paper. Okay, so this is fun. Okay, it's got paint on it from, yeah. But so yeah, already having started this spread, this has been, you know what, I was feeling a little, sometimes when you come out of doing some very just day-to-day life stuff, and believe me, I've still got more to do, like I'm actually have a ton of real life cleaning and just other stuff to do, but you can feel a little bit, what's the word, like in a very practical mindset, and you've lost that. I felt I wasn't in a playful mindset, but just having some time in this sort of a sketchbook can reignite, I think, that sense of I am creative, I can play, you know. And the other aspect to it all is yeah, and also getting back in touch with our own personal taste, because I think it's lovely spending time with other people in real life. I love meeting new people, and yeah, like at this drawing workshop, but sometimes people are much more traditional in their tastes, and sometimes we can feed off other people, and then I think if we're very sensitive, like be influenced by others and then lose touch with what our own taste sometimes and what we want to explore, and if we want to be childish and we want to doodle or you know, just play. Like, I think personally you could probably, if you had the right frames, like, so looking around, one thing this year I want to do is try and on sale get some nice frames. You know, you can rotate, maybe cut some work out. If you love something in your sketchbook, it doesn't have to stay in your sketchbook. You could cut it out, frame it. But yeah, and yes, a lot of this stuff is not archival or meant to be, but I don't know, I think sometimes we get over, especially for my own work, do I mind if things fade? I've got stuff on our kitchen wall that's faded. It's probably time for it to come down, but it's been lovely to have it up. So yeah, so I think this page is actually done for me. I kind of like, I might come back in, I'm tempted. I wonder if I did this side, just come in with a lot of detail, but otherwise it's going to be quite a long video and I've rambled on for quite a bit. But I wanted this one as a nice, to be relatively long, for you guys to get a drawing in, hopefully, and a longer session. And yeah, let me know in the comments about anything you're working on, any questions, what could be helpful to you this year. I can do that. Now I'm getting back into a bit more of a, as it were, a part-time work schedule. And yeah, thanks as always for watching. And I will, yeah, I do have a Patreon where I'm planning on doing like a weekly newsletter, and then hopefully, I keep forgetting to post them, but little video maybe once a week. And what else? Yeah, that's it. All right then, I'll see you next time. Bye.